Welcome to Waking the Kraken. I'm Wes Potts.
And I'm Alex Kahneman. I mean...
I like that.
That was good, yeah. So I don't have any news today.
Well, that's good, because I got some interesting news.
Good.
For starters, PlayStation 4's, or I don't know if it's just for PlayStation 4, but Marvel's Spider-Man comes out this Friday.
The video game? Oh, I saw the previews for that.
Yeah, which looks fan-freaking-tastic, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played any of the older Spider-Man games, but...
Only the ones based off the movie, do those count?
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 2, when you spray around New York and like you had to fight the Vulture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I played that one.
Yeah, and that one's fun.
That one was fun.
Like, it really introduced, like, free running before anybody had an idea of what, like, a free running game would be.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, it's like... Instead of him running everywhere and just being acrobatic, he's got the web and just swings.
Just slings around. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this new one.
That's pretty much it. I'm just excited that it's coming out. It looks really good. You should play it on Friday. You can buy it. What else? The movie Roe v. Wade has finally gotten the rest of its financing, so it can be released. And that's got... John Voight? Is it John or James?
John Voight.
John Voight, yeah. He's playing... I
think we have I think we have a visitor.
I think we do. But yeah, so he's going to be playing
Hi, Petunia.
Chief Justice Burger in that one. So that'll be cool to see. And the last thing that we got is Google just released a new feature that took about 10 months for them to develop. And it's for the Google Assistant. And if you say, hey, Google, tell me something good, it'll pull up a positive news story and just read it to you. And
all right.
So I figured we could...
let's try that.
Do a couple.
Let's give her what's up.
All right. Okay, Google. Tell me something good.
Check out this story from Alaska Public Media. Alaska Native tribes are taking over more governmental duties from the state. This is allowing some courts to implement more traditional systems of justice that focus on healing rather than just punishment.
Interesting. All right, let's try something else.
Let's try it with Siri.
Okay.
Let's see if Siri's is good. She's probably not. Hey, Siri. Tell me something good.
You go first.
Thanks, Dick.
That's funny. Hey, Google. Tell me something good. Tell me something good.
Check out this story from Next City. Chicago is asking its citizens, including youth, to help determine how to spend public money. Participatory budgeting involves communities identifying their greatest needs and guiding spending towards solutions.
So that works pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just really varied and cool, different news stories. And right now, they're all hand-curated. Like, people are going through and reading them and
like
selecting
this
which
is a good one.
Yeah.
That could be really dangerous later.
Yeah, well, what Google is hoping is that it becomes such a popular feature that they can switch it to an algorithm that'll manage all of it.
Gotcha. It's like,
yeah.
tell me something good. And then it's just ISIS.
Yeah,
just
right.
Like, what? This isn't good?
This isn't good at all. Especially with all of that would be so funny because Google's got all that censorship stuff going on. Like if their positive news started talking about like Nazis and white supremacy. And
absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much.
That's the news.
That's the news.
That's waking news.
Waking news.
Yeah,
waking news.
So how was your week? I mean, obviously we had the holiday.
Right.
For us, it was yesterday. For you, it will be probably a week ago almost.
Probably about.
So. Yeah, did you do anything cool for your like holiday weekend or anything like that? Anything peculiar, unique, interesting?
Yes. So Kaylee's family and I, and Kaylee, did an escape room, which I've never done before.
In like town?
Out of town.
Okay.
But we do have one in town.
We do have, we have a couple now.
Yeah. But we had a coupon for one that was about an hour away, so we drove up to meet her parents who were out in a condo for a week, and then we went to do the escape room, and basically the theme of it was like we're a bunch of scientists and the nuclear reactor is about to melt down, and you have to like try and figure out how to stop it.
Yeah.
Which it was a lot of fun. Like basically there was 5 rooms and you could see all 5 rooms from every other room.
Yeah.
but like all of the doors were locked and you had to figure out how to get into the next room. And like you would sometimes you would find a piece in one room that was like, oh, well, this is important, but not for another 3 rooms.
Right.
And then there would be some times where like you would be in one room and it'll give you a clue that's telling you you need to go back 3 rooms to find this thing.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just really fun. I kind of always assumed escape rooms were going to be like, try to find your way out.
Sure.
And I really liked that it was like, you have a goal that's not getting out. It's like, we're trying to shut something down. We're trying to like just get through this kind of maze and solve the puzzle. I don't know. It was a lot of fun.
Did you ever have anyone that, I know, like, I went to one of these parties one time where, like, it was like a themed party where, like, everyone got a character and they had to perform their character, and it was like a mystery, like a murder mystery party kind of idea.
That's cool.
It was like a live version of Clue that no one knew who Professor Plum or anything was because they were all different characters.
Right.
But I went to one time, and the person that I got given to me was, like, a Hollywood clairvoyant.
Yeah.
So I would just randomly talk to dead actors and
Nice.
stuff like that in it, and you had to find out who murdered it. And like basically the thing is, no one knew who murdered anyone, not even the host.
Right.
They randomly selected like an envelope, and then they like gave them all the things and stuff like that. And so no one knew who it was, except the person who was the murderer.
Right.
And they had to try to convince everyone they weren't the murderer, as well as everyone else convincing everyone they weren't the murderer.
That sounds
It was
awesome.
really awesome.
That
yeah.
sounds like a lot of fun.
So.
I've never even heard of people doing something
Yeah,
like that.
no, it was super cool. They do a lot of them at like there's a place in town around Halloween every year and stuff like that they do one of those. Like it's a big one too. They'll have
that's
like
cool.
15 to 20 people.
That's amazing.
And it's like it starts off like you get a dinner, and then like all of a sudden the lights go out, and then someone's dead, and then you got to figure out who out of all these people killed this person.
Right. That's awesome.
So
that sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah, it was neat.
Something that I've found pretty interesting about going to and having that experience finally is something that I've really considered a lot and been thinking quite a bit about is like VR arcades.
You're right.
And like the capability of having a VR headset that's powered by like a backpack that you're wearing, and you can move through a maze that's an actual physical maze inside. But then you're wearing the VR helmet, and so they can just map whatever graphics they want to the walls around you.
Yeah.
And so as long as they make the size 1-to-1 as you move through it.
Is it like the Imaginarium of like in like Community, where they just like took their extra room and then split it into a grid?
Exactly. Yeah. And then make it to where like the props, and like you could have props inside where it's like, oh, there's a fire right here.
Yeah.
And so they have like an actual heating element that warms it when you get close.
Right.
So it just all would feel extra real.
I actually played with a VR game this week.
Oh yeah? What's that?
One of my coworkers got like the Oculus that you could hook up to like the computer.
Oh, yeah?
And stuff. And so like I played this game called Kill Kittens or something. Kill All Kittens.
Kill All Kittens.
And basically like it's this castle defense game. And so you have the goggles on, and then in each hand you have these 2 controllers that have triggers on them, and one of them like does one thing and the other one is like a shoot kind of thing. And it's castle defense, so basically you build up like by killing all these kittens in an efficient manner, you wind up collecting more money, which you can buy more turrets.
Yeah.
And there's different kinds of kittens. There's like just normal kittens who are destroyed by lasers, and then there's box kittens who can only be destroyed by Gatling guns, and they're like just these cats in cardboard boxes that are running at your fort, and the more of them that get in there, the more that your fort suffers damage.
Interesting.
It was the weirdest thing in the world to be this omniscient being that's like floating above this little floating island, and then little cats are trying to destroy your stuff.
Yeah, right.
It was the weirdest, but it was super fun.
Okay, so was it set up was it like a labyrinth style tower defense game, or was it like an open field and you had to like kind of
So here, imagine if you will, there's like it's like a canyon, right?
Yeah.
So there's cliffs up here, and then on the other side there's this like landing area where the kittens are, and then over here is your base.
Gotcha.
And then this part right here is just kind of an outcrop in the middle, so it kind of makes a divergence to where they have like 1 or 2 options to run through.
Yeah.
So you got 3 different turret towers here, and then a couple turret towers here, and that's all you get for this level.
Okay.
And then the kittens will run, and if you don't have the right combinations of turrets,
Right.
they're going to break in and stuff. And so it was utter insanity and stuff. But like basically you could like get down at like eye level, or you can like float omnisciently above and just watch them try to do this.
That
It
is
was
so
ridiculous.
cool.
It was super cool.
So there's this when I was like right around the end of high school for me, like so 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
There was this tower defense game that came out, I think, for the PC or the Xbox. I don't remember. But basically, it was like a first-person shooter, and you were running around the map, but then you were also placing towers and watching monsters run through the lanes.
I don't even think I've ever heard of this game.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like executed super well because I only remember it being popular for like a few months and then it kind of fizzled away. But like that may have just been, like I said, like just execution.
Yeah, no.
But I always liked the idea, and in a VR setting, that would be even crazier. Like imagine if you could like, you know how they have like RTSs? Mm-hmm. Like what if you could combine an RTS and a tower defense game to the point where like you can play God and roll, like control the towers, and then you can control like entire units of troops, and you could like build your own castle and reinforce it. But then like also have it to where it's like, okay, like if you want to, you can play as a specific champion, and you can go first person in and start like helping the fight.
Absolutely, that'd be really cool.
And especially in VR, because you could just freaking like they could have just the camera like you're looking down at the map, and then you click on a character and it just goes zip, and then all of a sudden you're just in the character now.
Yeah,
and, like that would be so cool.
No, yeah, and that's what it was. It's this like weird like so like this hand like was the thing that I like clicked to put the towers up, like the turrets up and everything like that, and I could move around. And this one helped me lower and like raise and like move around in my little world and stuff like that. It was very, very interesting to have that system set out to where I was just like, man, this is ridiculous. I could imagine like if I just had this to myself and I wasn't embarrassed about everyone watching me on the screen, I would have done so. I would just play that for hours.
Yeah. So there was also that's interesting because there's this VR Tetris game.
Yeah.
That sounds silly. Like why would you make a VR?
Yeah.
Tetris?
Why would you make Tetris into VR?
But it's actually cool because they had this. One of the new things about this Tetris game is like you build up this meter that will allow you to finish a line whenever the meter's full, but the line won't clear. And you'll have something like 10 or 15 seconds to build as many lines as you can.
Okay.
Before it'll just clear however many you got.
Sure.
So like you can get in this one up to a 16 line clear at once.
Right.
And they actually went and had like a professional Tetris player, someone who's considered to be like the best Tetris player in the world right now. Try it out, and you can visibly see him starting off and playing it, and he's good at Tetris, and he's playing Tetris, and he's playing good. But like every game he plays, he starts playing Tetris better and better and better because it's literally all he can think about because it's in VR. And so like it actually went to show that like being in VR. Just basically getting the kind of seclusion away from distraction like that will allow for video games to have, like even video games where VR isn't necessary, it gives you the advantage of no distraction.
Well, and that's the thing, like, I mean, they've been doing that with, like, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim, they have it now, which is also what my coworker has, and he was like, hey, you should come try to play it on Skyrim. And that terrifies me.
Yes.
Like, I can't imagine how like terrifying it was to like see dragons for the first time in like 2011 when I played the game.
Yeah.
And just like being like hearing that roar from like a surround sound and be like, oh man, it's around. And then the next thing that I know is now I can see all around me and I'm just watching it, and it'd be terrifying.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm ready for full immersion VR is like 10 to 20 years in the future.
Sure.
And to me, that's like a VR experience that doesn't give you any like tells that you're in a VR experience.
Right.
Something where like the tactile sensors can activate all of your senses on your feet, touch really well, and like they might even come up with something where it's like, oh, like this game actually is designed to have scents and stuff like that, and so they have like certain things where like smells are part of it, because Sony was actually working on something like that.
Have you seen Ready Player One yet?
I have not.
Okay. This isn't going to ruin anything for you.
I've read the book.
But, like, well, the book is apparently different than the movie.
Yeah.
But, like, there's one scene where it's, like, all these people have these different VR kind of sets. Like, they've got, like, the headset, or they've got, like, some extra sensory kind of things and stuff like that. But then there's this, like, Ferrari model of a suit that's just the full body suit, so you can experience every bit of feeling and stuff like that throughout your entire skin and everything like that. And that is what I imagine that's going to happen, like, where it's going to be like, okay, well, you got like the Oculus Rift kind of style. You can play like it'll be similar to what we do now on our like tablets or phones.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is just a simple game that you can play that has better graphics than a Game Boy did.
Right.
And then if you want to get into the more immersive ones, you get like the ones with the gloves and then like the maybe like the shoulders or something like that, so you can like punch like you're boxing or something like that.
Heck yeah.
And then like there's the full body suits for like when you want to like really get into it, and it'd just be like thousands and thousands and thousands more dollars.
Right? That's pretty much where it's going to go. You know, there's actually a company that's working on a glove right now that like has haptic sensors all on your palm and fingertips and fingers. So like in the demo, you can be holding your hand out and they have like a little fox that'll sit in your hand and run around and like...
Oh, I've seen a video of this on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, and you can feel the fox's footsteps, and like when it lays down, it feels furry kind of. You know? And like they've got something like 128 haptic like sensors on the hand.
Yeah.
And so that's like 128 points of sensation. And then, but what's really amazing to me was like, there's the problem with VR and like a glove is like, if you're going to go to use your fingers to pick something up, nothing is going to be there to stop your
like,
fingers.
What's going to stop it?
Yeah, and so you're just going to go, oh, I got the ball, and it's like, that would take me out.
They do that. It seems like you can see that a lot, like in the ideas that they have too, like where they like pick up the ball and like they'll have it, but then it'll just like, they'll squeeze their head a little bit more and then it'll just like not censor it and it'll just fall out or like bounce away or something like that.
But they came up with a cool idea where basically they make the hitboxes of objects.
Yeah.
Like a gradient field slightly around the object rather than just being a direct line of you've made contact.
Yeah.
And as you enter that gradient, they have like actuators on the back that are tightening bands that are connected to your fingertips, like tendons. So when you go to bend your finger forward, it'll literally have a distance where you can't go past it anymore because it knows you're getting into that field, and so it'll get tougher and tougher until you're automatically...
This is a completely off-subject question.
Yes.
I have no idea how my mind made this connector.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite Kool-Aid as a kid?
Ooh. My favorite Kool-Aid was always the Kool-Aid Squeeze-Its that you would put the little pills in.
Yeah, like the little... Oh, the pill?
Yeah,
I remember
and
that
it would
where
change
like,
the color.
Yeah. That was the coolest thing in the 90s at the time. Like, it looked like a little like Tic Tac that you just shove into it and it would just like change the color. How I got that is beyond... I was just like, Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Like, here's this little force field. Kool-Aid, yeah.
Perfect.
So,
Dude, I saw a comic the other day. Speaking of Kool-Aid, it's like the big bad wolf, and there's the three little pigs, and they're all inside the brick house.
Yeah.
And the big bad wolf is giving the Kool-Aid man money
just to break through.
Just to break
That's
through.
awesome.
It
Like,
cracked me up, dude.
This weekend I went and did 1,000 things. Apparently, I went to work on like so like Friday night I was off. And I hung out with Chloe, and it was just normal. But, like, I still had to go to work, so I didn't really consider that my weekend.
Yeah.
So I went to work Saturday day, and then I immediately went down to my cabin.
Yeah.
Where my family has a cabin and stuff like that. And we did, I watched some movies that night and stuff like that. But then the next day I went out, and I was like, I'm going to go swim. I was going to go kayaking, but I decided to go swimming instead.
Yeah.
And I just burnt beet red. It was the worst. Like I was burned all the way up my arms. My face had been burned already this week once, and then it just got burnt again.
You mean you look remarkably healed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something about dipping yourself in aloe vera for like 12 hours and stuff like that
true.
really help. I still really just have it on my legs and like a little bit of my forehead, but my forehead's doing better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just completely burnt, and I was like, well, my weekend's ruined. But then I wound up like the next day being like, I can't ruin this weekend. So I woke up early, and me and Chloe went on a hike, which was awesome. And then we went thrift store shopping. But we found this like ridiculously cool little place where there's like just all kinds of nerd things. And it was amazing. They had like, okay, so you know those little Funko Pops?
Yeah, totally.
They had a Godzilla one.
What?
Like a fully, like that tall, like a Godzilla. I've never seen one in my entire life. But it was like $20.
That's awesome. Like, I've seen the, like, oversized Hulk one that they have.
Yeah.
But I've never seen anything bigger than that
It was bigger.
one. And I was
it was
like, so,
Godzilla. Like,
and did he have the same, like, bobbleheady thing going on?
He didn't have a bobblehead, it looked like, but I mean, like, he was just like a fully functional Godzilla.
Huh. Funko Pops, man.
Funko, man. Like,
Dude, I really enjoy toy collecting the older I get because like I see the like art and craftsmanship that can go into some of these things.
Right.
And like and then there's like this is kind of funny to me is like Funko Pops are like loot boxes in video games.
right.
And nobody complains about that. In fact, they're excited about it.
yeah, like, oh, check this.
They're like,
silly
holy
little
crap!
statue that
I
I
fucking
got.
got this one. It was a hunt one in like 256 figures are this one,
Yeah.
and I got it after buying 300 things. And it's like that's the same thing you were yelling about with freaking Star Wars Battlefront. Like, I don't get that, but like,
Chloe loves them. Like, Chloe loves Funko Pops. She loves Funko Pops so much that I got a Funko Pop from her that looks like me.
oh really?
Like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's even got the cigarette coming out of its
Oh,
mouth.
even
and
better.
stuff. Like-
Who's the character supposed to be?
I think it's supposed to be the little Funko Pop. Like, the only thing that it didn't have was the glasses.
Yeah.
Which I really need to rig up some glasses
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
dude. But, like, it's supposed to be Jesse Custard from The Preacher. But
Okay.
he's got, like, the dark hair and the beard, and he's wearing all black like I normally do.
Yeah.
And he's just got a cigarette coming out of his mouth. And, Chloe showed her mom, and she was like, it was really just in the eyebrows. And, like, her mom's like, yeah, it's in the eyebrows. And I was like, why can't I look like Kurt Russell?
That's funny. Gosh dang it! I just had it and it's gone. What was I going to say?
Toys.
No, it was after toys. I think. I don't remember.
Godzilla.
No. Gosh dang it! I had something cool, but now I forgot.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. It
Yeah.
might come back to me later.
But yeah, like so we wound up going hiking, and then we wound up finding a bunch of nerd things and stuff like that. And then we made tacos, but
Oh.
I'd never made tacos out of brisket before. Like, I had some like pulled brisket that I had this weekend and stuff like that. So what I did was I spiced it up with like Mexican spices and everything like that. It was amazing. It was great. Like,
Man, speaking of food, Kaylee and I have been making this African chicken roti
yeah,
soup.
you were talking about it last week. How'd that turn out?
It turned out so good, dude, that we made it again yesterday. It's like 3 freaking pounds of chicken goes into this,
Yeah.
and like 2 giant potatoes, so it's like a lot of food.
Yeah.
And so we made a huge freaking pot of it. It is like the most satisfying soup I've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of enamored
You'll have
with
to
it.
show
right?
it off in the show. Maybe we'll do like one of those time lapse things that they do on like Delish and
Ooh.
stuff like that. Because we've got this little camera right here that can do time lapses.
Yes.
And I've been
Ooh.
taking time lapses all week on it.
Yeah.
Of just me driving around and stuff like that. It was fun. It looks great.
I
and stuff
imagine
like
it
that.
does.
It's super great. So
Oh yeah. So I remember.
you got it.
I
You
remember.
found it.
I started watching Sharp Objects this week because I got HBO back.
And what did you think?
We just finished the second episode yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued by it. Pardon my French, but like the mom is, her mom,
She's
Amy Adams'
crazy
mom,
person?
like she's so much of a cunt. I almost can't believe she's real. Or like
She reminds me of Carrie's mom, right? Like,
Yeah.
like when you've watched Carrie and stuff like that.
yeah, and but I don't know. But just the main thing for me was like, I'm curious because you're further along, and this is
I've watched all of it.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, when did the last episode happen? Like this last weekend, right?
Yeah, this last weekend I was watching it. I announced that I would. Well, yeah, this last weekend.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Does the mom's character go through any sort of development that makes you like her at all? That makes her seem human? Because, like, for me, like, that's the only complaint I have with the show is that the mom is, like, inhuman to me.
Sharp Objects is very similar in the vein of True Detective. And that would be like saying, does Woody Harrelson get any better, like, of not being a fucking douchebag
Right.
like that's
Matthew
where the
McConaughey.
dynamic is built. In fact, it's not. It's less focused on the mom as much as. But I will tell you, the idea for what you need to know is that it does not matter if she changes heart or like anything
Yeah.
like that. Her storyline and stuff like that pales in comparison to what the larger scope of everything is.
Okay.
And it still just gets more and more amazing.
Interesting. Because I'm really intrigued by it. Like, I think Amy Adams is
And
an
I don't think
amazing
the
actress.
second. I think there's no justice with just 2 episodes. Like, it was
Oh,
something
yeah,
that
of
gave me
course.
hooked. The thing that me and Chloe kept going back was every week it was a cliffhanger. And
Yeah.
we're just like, are you kidding me? Like,
That's the way to freaking do it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be, like, on a time schedule.
the one thing that I liked, I think after watching the entire show, the thing that I appreciated the most was just the divergence between the north, like even like Kansas City and like that like southern draw, like that they have like in Wind Gap and
Wind
stuff
Gap.
like that. Like that's how that state is, Missouri. Like where it's like my grandparents lived there and stuff like that, and so like it's really weird to like see how like when I've been to Kansas City, people in Kansas City sound just like I do, and then like people in like. You get like right below that Missouri River line and stuff like that, and then it's just sounds like you're in the South.
Yeah, no kidding. And then like even like when I've been to St. Louis, because my dad actually grew up around that area.
They've got a different accent
They've
too.
got-
than
like they say. For example, like Southern Missouri would say Washington,
yeah.
and then St. Louis, Missouri would say Washington.
Washington. It's like weird Boston-like.
But it's like the only word that, like the only like vowel that ever happens with, and it's only in a specific context, like ASH.
And it was just weird to see that because like I know how my grandparents talk and stuff like that, and then like my other grandparents are from like the north of like Missouri and stuff like that, and so like the idea for me is like I have that in my family, that divergence of like hearing how my grandma on my Pot's side talks and then hearing how my grandma on my mom's side talks.
Yeah.
And then, like, just seeing how different that actually analyzes by just watching Wind Gap alone and, like, the detective. I thought that was an impeccable writing style.
Yeah, they definitely did a really good job of, like, keeping up to snuff with, like, I don't know, like, the like, realistic continuity that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, making sure that, like, the way it is in real life is the way you're going to encounter it in the show. I think is kind of what makes it interesting to me is like every little detail is very like believable and seems to be thought out and like cared for.
Yeah.
And it has a very, very like strong sense of continuity just throughout the first 2 episodes. Just like the feelings of like the way they'll cut.
Yeah.
Like is like they'll like repeat certain themes with like, you know, like you'll see something happen. Oh man, there's one scene in particular that really gets me. At the end of the scene, the maid is just kind of walks in and the camera starts to follow the maid as the mom leaves the shot.
Yeah.
And she goes to the ground and starts scrubbing this like section of tile that's like an arch on the ground. Mm-hmm. And so you just see her scrubbing it and it's like, why am I watching this scene? And then it transitions to the daughter, the younger girl. Mm-hmm. I can't remember her name right now.
Amma.
Yeah, Amma. But yeah, and then it transitions to freaking Amma using a giant rag to scrub an identical tiny tile in her dollhouse.
Yeah.
And so you're just seeing the scrubbing of the real floor, and then it goes immediately to the dollhouse.
Yeah.
And it was like, that is such a cool transition. And they like use these little motifs of like things that one character is like meant for.
Yeah.
And then they show like a reflection of that character within one of the main characters. And then that's like the transition. Like they're not just trying to go from like, oh, like this line will happen and then they'll do this, which will lead to this and then we'll move to the next shot.
No, I thought I think the thing is like with all of that, it's beautifully written. Like it was very, very interesting for me and Chloe to watch it week by week. Yeah, it was one of those things that after starting to watch it, I was like, fuck, I don't want to watch this week by week. I just want to watch all of it at once. But I was like, I'm already invested and I can't just take a pause for 8 weeks and be like, let's do this.
Yeah, right. Plus, that means you would have had to have Chloe would have probably watched it every week, and she wouldn't have been able to talk about it.
No, she doesn't have access to the HBO like I do. We watched it at mine because I have HBO.
I see how it is.
I hoarded all of the HBO so she couldn't watch it.
What else has been new?
Not a whole lot, really. I mean, like, fuck, I had something I was going to talk about. Dan Harmon. I just listened to. I just watched the 300th episode of Harmontown this week.
Oh yeah.
And it was hilarious. But really, the 300th episode was really great to watch. The 301 episode I thought was heartwarming.
Okay.
Like I just listened to it on my way back from like my vacation, and the one thing that I loved about it was he just took a random audience member out of the crowd because he had like a little backpack or something like that. He took a random audience member out of the crowd. And he just asked her questions, and like they just interviewed her, and that's a normal thing that they do. But it was one of those things where like I keep hearing Dan Harmon go, maybe I'm going to slow down, maybe I'm not going to do this anymore, maybe blah blah blah. And you'd think after 300 episodes he'd be like, that's a good number. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do this much longer kind of thing and stuff like that. But the way that she talked about like what Harmontown was for her was only something to be envied for me. Like, I want to eventually produce a show that people go, I drive 40 minutes to come see your show. I love hearing these things. I love all the cast of characters. I love how kooky it is. I love... like, it's one of those things that just gets me through things and stuff like that. Like, I listen to it when I'm playing video games, or I listen to it while I'm cooking, or listening to it while I'm just doing this random thing, and I get excited for these particular bits and these particular characters, but everything is amazing, and I like how open-minded you are and interested you are in just the people.
Yeah.
And to hear, like, a person say that to Dan Harmon, who clearly has other things going. He's got Rick and Morty. He's got, like, Community that people love and stuff like that. But that was only something that was inspirational for me to listen to and go, I want to produce something that's like this. I want to have, like, more interaction with the people that listen to this show. Because I see people occasionally on, like, the RSS or, like, stuff like that. I'd like to get to know you people better.
Definitely.
I don't know. Maybe we'll Skype you sometime if you let us. Like,
maybe.
That would just be really interesting. I just want to know, like, what it is about my show that these repeat people listen. And I don't know how many repeat listeners are out there.
Yeah.
I know the new listeners are out there, and I see a couple of your faces all the time that pop up on the SoundCloud or the RSS and stuff like that. And I know that you listen to them a lot. But I want to know what makes you people want to listen to us at all.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, honestly, like, I wouldn't... we could just start doing some live streams occasionally.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, all we have to do is just flip the chairs to the other side of the table, push the table all the way in, and we can just use my...
this thing right
I have
here.
a 1080 webcam up here, so we can use this, and we can just live stream straight from the computer onto YouTube, and we could have a fresh episode for you guys, and you could be there, and we could have a chat, and we could talk, communicate.
And then everything we say would be relevant, not a week late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Yeah, you know, for a pop culture podcast, it would probably benefit from being live.
Yeah, we would probably do really well being live, especially if we had an audience to, like, ask us questions. And
Exactly.
stuff. So.
Well, but I completely agree, dude. Like, all I really want to do is just keep putting out content and creating stuff, no matter what it is.
Sure,
and just put it out there for people to see. And more importantly, I want people to talk to me about it.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like this is 42.
42 episodes.
Like, that's a lot of episodes already.
Right? And has it come up? Are we 2 or past a year?
We'll be at a year in October. Yeah.
Man, we're getting there.
Because episode 2 was called Halloween.
That's true.
So
that's right. You're right. Man, we've been almost doing this. We've been almost doing this for a year.
Yeah.
And that is crazy. And we've already gotten 42 episodes. So we're probably going to end up right at about an episode a week once we get
53 or 57 or something like that episodes. Because we did 2 a week for a while.
Yeah, we did.
So.
Yeah.
But I guess with that, just let us get to know you a little bit better. You can always, I'll say it for me at least, you can always follow me and talk to me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Wes Potts, I think, is what my Twitter is.
Yeah.
So
and I don't have a Twitter.
And Alex, so if you have questions for Alex, you can ask me, since I know him really well because I lived with him. So I'll try to answer as best as possible.
Yeah. Also, you can send questions to the Waking the Kraken Facebook through, like, a private message.
True.
Or you can post it on the wall, whatever. We both can answer there.
Yeah, we're both there.
You could also message
the blog.
The blog.
You can check out the blog and talk to us there. You may not even want to get to know us. Who knows? So,
yeah, and for those of you who are experiencing us, you know, through all of the typical podcast venues, we're also available on YouTube, which means you can see us.
True.
And, but also it's the same content. We just added a visual element to it, so and we have multiple ways of getting around it, which is why we have the blog as well. So
you can read things and learn. Like, if we say something that's off the wall that you don't get, because sometimes I forget that when I talk to people, they don't get my references,
right?
And so so I put those in links.
Yeah, and we try to keep it to where, like, everything we talk about is going to be super accessible for you in any way that you prefer. So, like, don't forget, like, subscribing to any of those will make sure that you get, like, the proper notifications whenever we release a new episode, which, by the way, we release a new episode every Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time.
And I'll generally have the blog up the next day.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good pitch for the podcast.
That's right. Go check out our merch at Teespring.
Oh yeah, teespring.com/Waking the Kraken.
So
It'll take you right there. We've got T-shirts,
we've got tank tops,
and we've got stickers.
and we got stickers, and I really want to get socks.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do socks next, and I really want to make a phone case with the squid with the runes on the back.
I have a very secret T-shirt design that I want to tell you about off camera whenever we do. But I'm really excited. I want it to be the 1 year T-shirt.
Oh, amazing.
So,
well, thanks for joining us.
thank you. Have a good one.
Okay,
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.